If you're a dean, department chair, or director of graduate studies, your current strategy of prepping students for the academic job market is not working. And let me tell you why. Faculty jobs were always hard to get, and the number of them were decreasing. But in 2026, things are worse than ever. There are a lot of reasons why, but part of the reason is the declining state budgets, the shifts in federal funding priorities and rules, and the proliferation of ChatGPT. All of those things have made it harder to get a faculty job than ever. Now, we can't control ChatGPT or shifting federal funding priorities in the short term. But you know what we can control? We can control how we train our students to communicate their unique value in their interviews and in their job talks and in science communication more generally. But the first thing we need to do is admit that what we're doing, it ain't working. I hear so many problems from faculty who are members of search committee. I'm actually a member of search committees or have been. The biggest three complaints that I hear: one, students aren't able to communicate the big picture of their work. In other words, they're so focused on their narrow area that they can't communicate why their work matters to people outside of it. The second problem that I hear is they don't explain their methods well enough so that people that are not in their field can't understand. This is especially important for people who are working across disciplines. For example, people working at the intersection of biology and economics. And third, they have a little bit of trouble thinking on their feet. And this really becomes evident during the Q&A section because that's where your future colleagues get to see how you think. And I think it's really unfair that we expect them to do that because we don't have systems for teaching them how to do that. Instead, we expect them to learn it by osmosis or on their own. And what do? They might go to YouTube. And I fully realize the irony, given that you're watching me on YouTube right now, they might go to Reddit. And what I see on the Reddit boards is, why aren't you asking your advisor? They might ask friends who recently graduated and got an academic job. A good idea, but we're leaving that up to chance. And then ChatGPT. And I can tell you, and you should know, that ChatGPT comes up with some very interesting, read incorrect answers about a whole lot of things. But let's get back to them talking to their faculty advisors, right? Yes, faculty will watch job talks, may give advice, but let's be honest, you know that your faculty are busy. The service expectations, the teaching expectations, the research expectations have skyrocketed without a lot of support. And even when faculty have time, we need to be honest here. Most academic job talks are dry and boring. They make the same mistakes sometimes that I just talked about. And if we're keeping it real, many of us faculty got our jobs in spite of our job talks, not because of them. But what does that mean when we're talking about having a repeatable system for repeatable results? If you don't have a repeatable system, it's going to be hard to predict academic job placements or any job placements from year to year. And you need that predictability to be able to plan for the future. On the other hand, if you have a system where you can teach students to confidently communicate their ideas, that's the key to increasing those job placement rates. It's also key to creating an environment that's attractive for future grad students because they're going to think they know what they're doing when it comes to placing students. It's also going to help you attract world-class faculty and administrators to your departments and schools because, again, they will see the systems you've created and the success that's involved. My point here is telling a story about your work is the key way that we empower our students to stand out from the crowd and be able to leave a mark on the world with their work. One thing you might be thinking is, maybe this is something career services can take on. That's their job, right? Well, spoiler alert, the answer is no. While university career centers are great, they aren't going to fill in the gaps for your students that want to be professors and go on the academic job market. If you want to know why, check out my next video.